So every week I get hands-on with a particular tool, generally somewhat developer focused. This one is a little kind of somewhere in the middle. And I see what it's like and how I can get on with it. I'm Christian Chiller. You can find more about me at christianchiller.com, where you can find all the other videos, streams, podcasts, articles I create, as well as more about me, social places to hang out. Feel free to drop a message in the chat. It's always nice to know people are there. Whatever platform you're watching on, I can aggregate it and say hi. So let's jump into screen share. So I am talking today about Raycast. It's interesting because this application, the website is very kind of broad and generic, talking about leveling up productivity and things like that. But it's very specific to macOS and specific to certain use cases. So many of you might be familiar with Spotlight. I can't actually show you Spotlight because I have it disabled, but that sort of okay, I can Spotlight. It comes built in to macOS. Guess that's a good page to go to. Yeah, this kind of shortcut connection or command spacebar, or often it's hiding up in the menu bar up here, and you type in instructions, and there's some built-in instructions, some customized ones. You can get files and all sorts of things like that. Windows has something similar. Linux has lots of different alternatives. There's also a very common alternative called Alfred, which is what I am using here. And there's lots of customizations here. So for example, I use something called Raindrop, and I have a workflow added to Alfred that lets me interact with Raindrop. It also finds applications. I can also do all sorts of custom actions here. Some other cool ones are things like calculations and all sorts of things. So there's a whole bunch of different options there. That's Alfred. Alfred is pretty well known. So Raycast emerged relatively quietly and recently. Seem to have quite a lot of funding under their belt, which is interesting for something very specific. And it's got some similarities, and that's what I wanted to have a look at. I wanted to have a look at what it does and how it's customizable, and then we'll sort of take it from there. So I have a download. I'm using Alfred ironically here to install it first. It's a typical macOS application. And hey to you, Goose of the Wild. Nice to see you. Just drag into the applications folder. I don't know if it'll ever be cross-platform. Interesting to know. And let's open it up. Something I always like to check. Is it Electron? I don't think it's going to be Electron for something like this. Let's see. No, Solver Core. I'm not quite sure what that is. Anyway, all right. So, Raycast. Let's open it up. See what happens. Yep. Okay. The work that matters. Access work tools, control your Mac with a single place without switching context. Okay. Again, if you're familiar with Alfred or Spotlight, all of this is reasonably familiar to you. Okay. So we have various built-in extensions, and we'll come down to some of the others that are possible in a minute. Okay. So what are some things I regularly use? GitHub. Yep. Sign in with GitHub. Okay. All right. Let's do that. Sure. It's not going to work with everything. This is always more of a GitHub problem more than anything else. Organizational permissions in GitHub are a bit of a pain in some respects. Okay. Sure. Connected. Good. Let's add Asana. Same thing will happen, I guess. It's all reasonably self-explanatory so far. Cool. Linear is actually the company behind Raycast's own tool. Calendar, sure. Reminders, sure. I'm not quite sure what reminders application it's going to use. I do not use internal bookmarks. I use this raindrop tool. Read news from various media, sure. Clipboard history, file search, sure. Script commands. Window management, that would be useful. I already have a window manager I use, so if I can replace something with that, then that would be good. Okay, sure, this is using some kind of accessibility setting. The annoying thing with this is always that every time you need to do something like this, then you have to restart the application, which is a bit of a pain. It's going to break. Oh no, maybe not. Made my mouse go wonky for a second. Not sure why. Okay. Floating notes. I think I'll be okay without that. Next. So this is option space. This is going to conflict with Alfred. So I'm going to change it to something else. Ooh, okay, that's also a system command already. Let's try. No, that's also. Okay, too many existing keyboard shortcuts use spacebar. Let's try. Okay, there we go. Okay, good. Option shift space. Launch it at login. Okay. This is also interesting here. We'll come back to that later. Join our Slack community. Follow us on Twitter. Not right now. All systems ready. So it's up there, which is strange. Oh, hello. It just took me to a different window. Okay. Is it living? So we've also got an application up here. Can jump into preferences and things like that. General, okay. Appearance, system, yep. Hide the icon, not quite yet. Extensions, we've already enabled. Create a task, my task. Calendar, okay. That's strange it didn't ask for permissions earlier. Contacts. I thought I was giving calendar, not contacts, but okay. Both. All right, fine. Sure, for now. Clipboard history. Okay, dictionary. Okay, GitHub. We've got create issues. There's some nice options here. Workflow runs even. Well, media. It's a bit vague, but okay. This is hopefully big enough for everybody to see. This occurs to me. It's always a problem with doing system applications. I might have. Do I have? Yes, I do. There we go. Oh, how does that work with OBS? Just occurred to me. I've never tried this with OBS. I think it's making it bigger. Hard for me to tell. I'll have to try that later. That's something I've never had to do before. I think it is. Okay. Raycast itself. Okay. Reminders. I don't know if this is using macOS reminders or not. Not sure. Script commands we'll come back to later. System. Volume. Okay, a whole bunch of things here. Window management. Okay, nice, nice. Shortcuts. So shortcuts for what, I wonder? Applications. Mostly applications, I think. Preferences. Applications and preferences. Window management. There's a bunch of different reminders. Oh, actually, so there's a whole bunch of Asana. So there's actually a whole bunch of different things we can assign shortcuts to. Okay. Preview. All right. About. Okay, fine. All right. Good. Let's jump back out of Zoom. Okay, so let's give this a try. Let's try something normal that I would do. This is where I've already forgotten the shortcut I set because I'm so used to the Alfred one. Space. Okay, so let's just open an application first. Let's open something that isn't gonna. These icons are a little too small for my taste. I guess there's probably a way to change that. Text edit. I mean, yeah, fine. Nothing really crazy there. I wonder if there's anything else we can do. What is this? More actions. Command K. Application showing file. Okay, that's similar to the other Alfred things you can do. Copy name, copy path, copy bundle identifier. Interesting. I don't know if there's going to be other. So Command K. Configure extension. So basically the same. Okay, let's have a look at my pull requests. Guess this will take a second or two. There we go. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Now I wonder in this case. Aha. Now that's interesting. Show details. Open in browser. Close the pull request. Copy the pull request number. Branch name. Pull request URL. Title. Request a review. Add assignee. Now this is nice. I won't do that with this one. I kind of need something that isn't isn't public. So these are all closed, and this is on my personal website. I know that. So let's. Well, that's not gonna. Let's open it in browser. It's interesting that it's Command Enter, not just Enter. Although that seemed to also work. Okay, so I'm just going to create just another pull request just to test this. Let's see. I don't want to do anything that's potentially gonna. Oh, there we go. This README definitely needs a big update. Well, there is no README. Let's create a new branch. Make a pull request. All right, and we can also see how quickly it can update. So, whoops, force of habit. My pull requests, and obviously we could let's do this. Let's add a shortcut to that, because now I wonder how can we access shortcuts. There we go. Is there? All right. I'm ready to zoom in again. I really hope this is coming across on OBS and all the various streaming. I'm not sure. So we want the GitHub. So my pull requests. This is where it always. And okay. So let's say PHP. There we go. It's probably easier. Okay. All right. I mean, we know it's obviously going to be one of the latest ones. So that's nice. It also shows it here. Oops. Oh, there we go. I thought I mistyped, but I got it. So show my pull requests. Looks like, oh no, there it is. Cool. So Command K, show details. So show details and open in browser are basically the same. Okay, create merge commit, squash and merge, rebase and merge, close it, copy the number. I was actually interested to see, there's a lot you can do here. This is quite nice. If I add an assignee, brilliant. I can actually pick out assignees here. This is quite nice. Obviously, the main problem with this will be that what I alluded to earlier, the private and business and organizational accounts for GitHub have some weird permissions, and you may not be able to work with a lot of the repositories you want to, but it's not really a problem of Raycast. It's an issue with GitHub permissions. I think they're working on more nuanced permissions, but that's a whole other conversation. Okay. Let's then, okay, well, this was just junk, so I'm going to close it. Nice. Nice. All right. Oh, and you can also filter by repository. That is nice. Wondering. Oh, it's not. Yeah, once I do that, it prompts out. So what else can we do? Let's look. So we're still in, so escape to go back or go to root search. Okay. Option escape. Okay, nice. Let's look at Asana. I use Asana for personal household tasks, so you're going to see some boring stuff here. I don't think there's anything too personal. I guess it will get faster. Now, this looks, can I actually, wow. I actually did this task today. Check that out. I like that. That is nice. I've actually been looking for a task aggregator to aggregate all the tasks I have across various services. And I've been actually building one in Flutter. I wrote a blog post about it last year. I actually dug it out for the first time to do some more work on it over the weekend. And actually, I mean, in theory, this could be another nice option. It's not cross-platform, of course. It would be nice to have something, but it's mostly I want it on my Mac anyway. So I'll see what else is available in a minute for that. Now, also, this is done. This gives us an opportunity to see what else. Oh, I hit the wrong keyboard shortcut. Whoops. Damn it. Oh well. I wanted to try something else. Okay, I wanted the force of habit there. That's what I wanted. So again, mark for assign to, copy the task name. Very nice. So let's assign that to myself. I think it really was assigned to me actually, but anyway. I guess it all depends on what API is available. I don't think I can change anything like dates or anything like that, but that's fine. It's a good start. Okay, what else? Create a task. How's that look? Well, that's nice. Nice. Strange that you can assign it there but not change it. It's fine. What else? My schedule maybe? Clicking it doesn't seem to do anything, which is interesting. So here's my schedule. That's nice as well. This replaces, for example, the widget here and things like that, which is quite nice. I say nice a lot. I do apologize, but I'm liking a lot I see here. Now this is also really good. Things like this, and let me zoom in a little, because I've often found the links to get to, especially online meetings like in Zoom and things like that, can be a little difficult to get to work properly out of the calendar. And that, I mean, I won't click it right now, but that's also good. Blocking the time, I'm not quite sure what that will mean. Email the attendees, copy the event details, the event title, delete the event. Very cool. I have actually two different calendars, which is a bit of a pain, but that again is not something Raycast can do much about. Well, yeah. Okay, so that's good. Can I add things to? Yeah, this is interesting. I keep wanting to click as well, but clicking doesn't seem to do anything, which is fine. I guess that's not really what it's meant for. Can I create a calendar event? Seemingly not. Okay, that would be a nice feature to have. Okay, what else? One more thing, and then we'll go and try some other options. This news thing intrigues me. The window. Okay, I don't know how this is going to work because I don't know what window I am in. Oh, I see. So bottom half. Let's see. Okay, so let's try left half. Focused window is not resizable. Okay, so I guess we go. That also replaces another application I'm using. So far I'm potentially replacing several applications that I use, and maybe even replacing one that I don't even have yet. So this is looking quite good so far. Okay, so I think that's enough of the basics. Let's have a look at how we can extend this. I talked about maybe adding some different, like Trello, for example. I'd like to add something similar with Trello. I kind of understand I'd have to hook up a lot of APIs and all this kind of stuff, but that's fine. Let's see what else we can do. Let's actually check through the features and the extensions, and that'll probably be a good start. Maybe something build it yourself, just in case. Oops. Where were we? Okay. So launch apps. Not sure if there's anything else we needed there. A file search. We didn't try the file search. So I don't know. What's something I know I've written recently? Okay. I know I have a WhatsApp image floating somewhere. Okay, if I just select that, that's interesting. Authorize to search to use user folders. Okay. Yep. All right. What was I doing? Oh no, whoops, wrong one again. Oh, there it is. Okay, now it's there, and I can do share. If that integrates with the default, it does. That's nice. Oh, impressed. Calculations. Can't seem to go. Oh, wrong. There we go. Wrong key. Getting used to the double click. Thank you very much, Ramon. All right, I'll try that in a second. Taking a little bit of getting used to the different. I think I'm more used to hitting Option all the time, and obviously I could remap it, but sorry, Option instead of Command because I'm used to Alfred. But obviously you can refactor that. I would do that at a later date, but let's just try that. I want to try. So let's try this again. Okay, yep, that works. Excellent. Right, let's try the calculator. I mean, it's a pretty simple one to try. And again, yeah, cool, good. All right, let's dig into the. Changing. I keep going down different avenues of what to try here. Right, let's try. I'm gonna be careful I don't accidentally shut off a screen or something. Set the volume. Okay, that's there. I guess I could do things like restart, maybe? No. I could sleep. We saw that. Sleep displays. I won't do those. Can I power off? I do actually trigger that in Alfred quite a lot. Yeah. I do like shutting down my computer once a week. It sounds dumb, I know, but there we go. Lock screen, I won't try that. Sleep, I won't try that. What else is there? I'm not quite sure. Okay. Light or dark, that's fine. Everything keystroke away. Issue tracker, nice. Let's dig into the aspect of seeing if I can how I could create an extension, and then I've got a few other things I'd like to try. I might do a quick other few things of replacing Alfred's shortcuts, workflows I have. Okay, let's see. Sign up for a developer program. That's obviously not going to be particularly instantaneous. Firstly, I will check if anything. These are all the default ones. Yep. It'd be nice to. Can I look at any documentation without script commands? Okay. So Bash, Swift, or JavaScript. That is useful. I wonder if there's any demos we can try. Let's see. Let's go into a script. As I said, everything is quite new. So I don't expect everything I'm looking for to be available. I mean, how new is it? 3 months by the looks of it. Or 4 months, 3 to 4 months, so not very long. So where do we start? Awesome script commands? No, I think I was expecting, here we go. Yeah, this is what we're looking for. Contribution guide. So ideally what I'd like to do is maybe create one for Trello. Trello has actually a pretty good API. So I think a lot of what's available with Asana is probably available. So something like that. I'm not really going to have the time to go all through, but let's just get the principles, I suppose. So where would I start? So there's already a couple of others here, actually. Item, bookmark. Book item is also useful. That's something that is one I use quite a lot in Alfred to trigger aliases mostly. Homebrew as well. Yeah, that's good. Also useful. Apple Music, also useful. That wasn't what I was looking for. How do I start then? Pull requests for. So bash is also a possibility. Oh, there's an example somewhere. Some example to get you started. And also Apple scripts. That's useful for the Apple stuff. But what I'm intrigued to know is if I wanted to make something in, I don't know, it feels to me like JavaScript would be the easiest, or an external application service like Trello, for example. So I think I'm in the wrong place for that. This is using the script commands, which are script commands are all Apple script. Or are they custom? Let's see. Okay, let's have a look. Go to the following steps. Create a new directory for command, open the extensions, preferences, and select script command. Add a directory. Click. Okay. I'll pop that into my workspace. Duplicate the generated template. Not seeing one. Select your new directory. Am I misunderstanding something here? Probably. Open the extensions preference. Click add more directories, and maybe I should probably not use this folder anyway. It's got a lot of stuff in it. Let's add something new. Okay, so did Big Sur remove the shortcut to create a folder? I guess it did. Okay. Whoops, sorry. I should be using there we go. Workspace. Peculiar. Why can I not create a new folder? Why can I not create a new folder in my folder where I have many folders? It's strange. There we go. Okay. Let's see. All right, let's try that again. So we'll go to Ravcast, good old Ravcast. There we go. Right, I think the folder I was trying to use was a little overloaded, maybe. Duplicate. It's actually okay. Click add more directories. Select it. Duplicate the generated template and remove template from the file name. Okay. So it's bash. Okay. Bash is pretty powerful. Write your script. Okay. I mean, this is potentially something big here. Oh, now we can try. I want to. Yeah. So I'm currently using Mosaic to do this. Oh, nice. Okay. Let's pop that into there. No, I'll do it again now. Look at that. I always forget that happens. Voila. Okay. So we have an API, package name, icons, need confirmation. I feel like I need to do a lot more digging into this to figure out what's possible. Ideally, it would be nice to see an example of, say, the Asana one and work from there, something more in depth. Possibly is another one that is more in depth here, or maybe it's not possible with script template. So this is sort of where we're getting to. Hitting an API. Oh, that's just a URL, I think. Yeah. Not 100% completely what I want to be doing. That's fine. It's actually very useful. So I could use this, for example, for my update script. So let's do that out of pure interest. Just do something. Is it as simple as, so I have an alias. That alias is to brew update and a whole bunch of other updates that I run pretty much every day. So maybe I can run it from Raycast instead. I'm not sure if that's enough. Is that going to be enough? Depending on the mode, passing arguments, full output, compact would be enough. So I think someone from Raycast just told me in the chat, not possible to do what I'm trying to do, something like Trello in script commands at the moment, but I will investigate if I can do that with the Swift or JavaScript in a second. But let's finish this avenue first. Output. Where do I define the output? Or mode here. Okay. Where do I put that? The mode is here. All right. So I would like compact, I think. Required parameters, schema version 1, I guess. Title is update. Optional parameters, I don't really need any right now. That will do. And that's the command, basically. So that's probably enough. So where did it say what to do? Here we go. All right. So let's go back into the preferences here. Oops, I'm not going to be able to read that at the same time. It's the problem with doing applications. I need to figure out a better way to do that sometimes. Write your script, press reload. I need to make it executable, don't I? Do I have my terminal open? No, good. Oops, sorry, I should be using Raycast. Okay. Oops. It opened in a different window. Hang on, bear with me. There we go. You do not want to see all of this, though. Okay. Oops. There we go. That's better. I do have a. Oh, I do have a better terminal for videos, but this is going to be very quick, so I won't focus too much on this. Oops, that was weird. That's not what I wanted. There we go. That's what I wanted. Let's just quickly fix this. And I'm having weird issues with, because I misspelled it, didn't I? It's Rabcast. There we go. So, Jamad. Okay. And I'm also being told very helpfully by people in the chat that these are supposed to remain commented. There we go. So, okay. Let's try again. There we go. Good. So now I guess I can just run this. I may regret doing this. Update. Yeah, look at that. Let's see. Not sure what's going to happen here. Script failed to run. Oops. Stay. Open. Not sure how I can see the rest, but I know what the problem is. I have this alias declared in ZSH shell, not in bash. So there we go. Let's is that right? I usually only ever do the all right, let's oh, shell check only supports. Okay, that's all right then. Okay. Hopefully that will work. Let's see. I'm not sure if Raycast supports ZSH. It is now the Mac default, so let's see. No. That could be a whole myriad of problems. So what I'm going to do instead is actually just do this instead, just so we can move on, because I'm running close-ish to time now. So let's just do that instead, just as a test. And I can fathom my own weird aliases another time. That's not really what we're here to look at. So, okay. And that looks like something's happening. This is probably a case, I mean, the brew update can run for some time. So this might have been better to do. There we go. Oh, it updated something. I don't know what. So maybe in that case, it would be better to have the full output. All right. So that's a good start. That's quite easy. I mean, we'll do a bit of a quick comparison to Alfred in a second. In some aspects, this is easier. In some aspects, it's harder. But there's a couple of positive and negatives on all of that. So let's come back to that in a second. First and foremost, I'd like to... I think the impression I'm getting is that there probably is no public documentation right now for figuring out how to do the more extensive ones in JavaScript or anything like that, but it will be possible, hopefully, at some point that there's a script command. So that's not so interesting to us right now. I don't remember I read that. Where did I read that now? I saw it somewhere. I don't know where I read it now. I read it somewhere. I don't know. I'm sure I saw that somewhere. But yes, that would be... Oh, I don't want to fill that in right now. That would be something that would be quite useful to do, although I'm sure it's going to be much... Oh, here we go. Yep. So that is the script commands. Okay, so the API for the more finessed ones is probably going to be more complex. Yeah, so that's hard to really evaluate. But the integrations that are there are very, very solid. And of course, as I alluded to earlier, how far you can take it really depends on the APIs available in the services you're connecting to as well. But yeah. So let's have a quick run through a few things. I'm gonna... I haven't really used Spotlight in some time. I think there are, so I know I've seen these in Setup, for example. There are some other alternatives, although they're not as well known. Where is it? I've definitely seen some others. Something. Lacona. I did give it a quick try, but I didn't really see any need for it over already using Alfred and having paid for Alfred. There was another one I came across. I'm not sure if Quicksilver is still a thing. And there are some open source ones as well. But I guess Spotlight is the main competitor. And Spotlight is customizable. Although, as I say, it's been such a long time since I've used it. I'm not really sure what's possible in it anymore. And that would probably involve writing Swift, which is, I mean, it's possible, but I thought maybe they would have a section for Spotlight extensions. Maybe not. As I say, I haven't used it in such a long time. But I guess the main comparisons would be Alfred. So let's just have a quick look at some of the features I use and what is available and what isn't right now. Most of this top ones are all there. Snippets, not so much, but I don't really use the snippets. I don't find having them in Alfred so useful. I'd rather keep them in the individual application. Calculated dictionary, yes. Contacts, it asks for access to my contacts, but I don't think I don't see any way to access the contacts. I find that, strangely, to be honest with you, the thing I use the Alfred contact search for most is for remembering what my phone number is, which is not a particularly massive use case. So I don't know how much I really use it, in all honesty. Controlling music, I mean, the fact that you can see it still says iTunes here shows you that's probably not massively maintained. And in all honesty, I don't really use it a great deal. I tend to do it from up in the new control center thing, to be honest with you. So I don't really know how much I use this feature, and I did see a possibility to do that through AppleScript. 1Password, again, useful, but I don't necessarily use it that much. System, so there's some of this. And it could argue that the others that aren't available are not ones that probably my own more personal needs than anything else. Sleep. Oops, I'm in the wrong application again. Sleep is probably the one that most people use, to be honest with you. Quit all once or twice I have used. That is not there. Volume is actually quite useful, although I would tend to use the system default shortcut keys these days. Or you can move it, that's good as well. Lock would be useful, that is available. So that's really, actually, and if anyone's wondering if that's log out from a virtual machine, not a log out shortcut, as you can see why it says application. That's not massively useful, really. It's probably lock screen, sleep, and basically, yeah, that's probably all really that most people would want. So the ability to run terminal commands, and this is, to use a non-standard terminal is, you have to always put this weird bit of AppleScript in. So that's not actually massively integrated either. I don't think there's any way to run a command. Actually quit and full quit applications from there if they're running. That's actually quite useful. Well, maybe it's useful. I'm not sure. Seems like it might be. I don't think there's a way to run a terminal command. Obviously, I could hook it up to to script commands, but that would be the only way I could see for now. But again, basically all I ever do is run that update script. I don't know. There's probably other people who use it far more extensively than that. Large type I used to use a lot more. I don't really use it recently. Previews I don't really use. Now, workflows are really where Alfred comes into its own, and this is where Raycast is catching up. That said, Alfred workflows are a little bit of a graveyard sometimes, in that you find ones that would be really useful, but they're not maintained very well. They don't work anymore, like this airplane mode one I used to use a lot to disable Bluetooth and Wi-Fi. And only half of it works anymore. I mean, I could update it, of course, but so many other things you also could update and you never do. So, battery, I don't know. I just added that. I don't really use it. Caffeinate is actually kind of useful. The interesting thing you can see is most of these are scripts, and this one is using Python as well. So there's a few. And so if it's just Bash, then effectively with a combination of Bash, JavaScript, or Swift, you could replicate most of these anyway, probably almost command for command. So Caffeinate is one that actually I find quite useful. Dash is one that is very useful. That would be definitely one to create, because Dash has a lot of pre-existing applications. I mean, maybe it's appeared in Raycast whilst I wasn't looking. Let's see. You never know, because you can usually find it in here. Also, Quicksilver is out. Launch bar, that's another one. So there's actually quite a few of them. I don't know how maintained they are. So I don't see Raycast yet, but it's pretty new. Even Dash doesn't update that much. So that would be one. That is actually one I use reasonably recently, I must admit. Since Dash updated to this interface, I've ended up using that more, to be honest with you. Evernote, well, Evernote broke Evernote, so that doesn't work anymore anyway. Git works flawlessly, as we saw. There was a homebrew one we also saw, but I don't really use that very much. Pocket, maybe. And that one is very complicated, but it's all shell scripts. So actually done PHP by the looks of it, but it's probably reproducible. And in all honesty, I don't use it that much. So I think effectively, there's a lot I use Alfred for that I could replicate in Raycast, and some additional things like the some of the to-do and issue management applications I currently use are there already, which would be very useful to me. As I said, I'm actually currently attempting to build my own tool to do that, because there is no to-do aggregator that has all my to-dos in one place. And you can tell me 5 of them, and I can guarantee you that it will be missing one of the services I use, because that's always the case. So there's a lot of good possibilities there. And for example, I know this for a fact, like maybe I don't know for a fact, maybe I should not to look first before I say that. So for example, I pretty much guarantee that in a lot of cases, I will go to a Trello workflow and last updated 2015. And this is unfortunately, core Alfred is great, but the workflows around it are often exceptionally out of date and very hard to find what is official and things like that. So this is a shame. This one looks, moderately more up to date. And there's another one. I mean, some people would say this is a positive, of course, that there's more than one option. Some would say it's a negative. It's hard to say. So this has always been my issue with Alfred, that the core application is great, but the extensions can be. So there's a lot here I like in Raycast. I have paid for the Power Pack in Alfred, and I have upgraded it several times. So obviously Raycast is currently free. Not really sure how long it will stay like that. Hard to say, but there's a lot I quite like here. It would be really nice to see what the API would be like. Otherwise, it would just become another kind of place where you're limited to a certain amount of tasks. And then what? If they get that right, then that would be fantastic. It could be really, really interesting. I find it quite fascinating that they've managed to raise a reasonable amount of, a reasonable amount of money for a relatively kind of, in my mind, niche use case application, especially when their main competitor is Apple with Spotlight, really. Which is always a difficult competitor to be up against. I have been a Mac user long enough to be very familiar with the term Sherlocking. And in fact, Sherlock was the precursor to Spotlight, so we're even in the right space. So that is, I find interesting. I wonder, how they got the funding for something like this. Like, it looks like a great tool, but it doesn't seem very commercially, massively commercially successful in some respects, but maybe there's a whole other plan behind the scenes that I'm not aware of. But that's getting into my podcast arena where I interview people as opposed to get my hands on things. So there's a lot here that looks really, really interesting, and I'd be fascinated to see if other people try it. How does it compare? Do you notice any performance issues, any errors, etc., etc.? But so far, looks actually very promising, and I may try it for like a week or so instead of Alfred. I might have to quit it and remap that keyboard shortcut so I don't lose several years of muscle memory, and see how I go. But yeah, it actually looks really interesting, and there's a lot of nice potential integration points I could see. Things like media, you could hook into. What do I use? I use ReadKit, for example. I don't know, just a whole bunch of different applications I could replace here. I could already replace several, but I could replace more. It's a lot of work, but it could be very interesting. So yeah, that was Raycast. Head over to raycast.com if that seems interesting to you. We'd love to hear your feedback here. I think this will be a video that probably gets more comments over time. I did get that with some other Mac software I ran, like when I did Nova from Panic. I got a lot of comments later, and others too, especially as this is a relatively new application. And that was hands-on with Very descriptive title for this week. I have been Chris Chinchilla, as always. Next week, I'll actually be back with Commander 1, another macOS application, and then I'll do something different. It's too many macOS applications in a row. I do apologize. No podcast from me this week, but I have a solo adventurer coming up. You can find on chrischinchilla.com or on YouTube if you're watching on YouTube, coming up Friday. And also I am starting the documentation and developer experience office hours, the rebrand of that. This Friday is the EMEA slot. So for people who are not in the US, basically, and that will be at 11 a.m. Central European time, so UTC +1. And head over to chrischinchilla.com or Twitter at chrischinch to find how to sign up for that. And that'll be more interactive, actually, not just me talking, hopefully. We'll see. So until next time, thank you very much for joining me. Let me know your feedback on the video. Please rate, review, share. Tell me what you think of Raycast, and